When you talk about the greatest shooters of all time, you do not bring up Seth Curry.
Why
it's
not?
It's great to bring up those numbers. Sure, I can appreciate that. But at no point have I ever, when we talked about the best shooters, you bring up Seth Curry. I've never heard you mention his name ever.
I haven't, but why? But why isn't he?
Sounds like it's your fault.
Why is Seth Curry not a better shooter than Steve Kerr?
Well, how about the stages that he's been on? I'd like to think that matters.
Well, give Seth Curry the opportunity to play with MJ.
He played in the playoffs.
Give Seth Curry the opportunity to play with Tim Duncan.
With Bay Area Kemba. We have seen him do that. I'm pretty sure he played with Kevin Durant. I'm 100% confident he played with Kevin Durant. I'm 100% confident he was on the team.
Did he play with Michael Jordan?
He did play with Joel Embiid.
Did he play with Michael Jordan?
Oh no, he did not play with Michael Jordan. You know he didn't, Mars.
Exactly.
That doesn't. But
so every player you just named is worse.
These places you're talking about where he played. I mean, outside of the Portland stint where he was a junior role player, when he was with Embiid, he was averaging 15.
Yeah, he was. I was gonna say he averaged more points than Steve.
He shoots 47% from three in the playoffs.
He's better than Steve Kerr. I don't know Steve Kerr's the example.
47% from three in the playoffs.
So now what we're doing today, that's what we're doing. Steph Curry is a top 10 shooter all time. Steph Curry is a top. No,
not top 10, but we bring up Steve Kerr more than Steph Curry. I just asked why.
We talked about the greatest shooters of all time. Okay, so who are the greatest shooters? Who are the greatest long ball shooters of all time? Curry, Klay Thompson,
Reggie Allen,
James Harden, Stojakovic, Kyle Korver, Bird.
Why you get to say Kyle Korver's name, but I can't say Steph Curry?
I'm asking you, Mars, because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm asking why. Okay. All I'm saying is, we say a lot of guys like Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr was the one I brought up. I'm not saying Seth Curry is like top 10 shooter of all time. I'm just asking why we say guys like Steve Kerr before we say Seth Curry. That's what I'm asking.
Because of the production. That's why. And then your logic was right back behind that. Well, he played with Michael Jordan. Well, a lot of times, especially during that time, guys played with who they played with. Guys weren't bouncing around from team to team. That's not what was going on.
Steve Kerr shot 37% from three in the playoffs for his career.
He wasn't very good in that 98 playoff run neither. No, he wasn't. He was not.
Steve Kerr's best was 46% one time.
Oh my God! Seth is shooting 47% for his career in the playoffs.
And he takes more than him
on a big stage. What?
So Seth Curry is a better long ball shooter than from the numbers, which you just told me, Mars. I'm not sure about this, but you just told me.
We're about to argue that they guarded Steve Kerr more heavily than Seth Curry.
No, I'm not. You talking about the percentages? That's what you're telling me.
That's what you're telling me.
Are you saying that Steve Kerr was? Are you saying that Seth Curry was more of a threat? Like people were concerning themselves more with Seth Curry than they were with Steve Kerr during that time. Even though during that time Steve Kerr wasn't a long ball shooting league, it wasn't. And Steve Kerr was getting guarded at the long ball line. Now it's a long ball shooting league where guys are a lot more wide open at the long ball line than they were, including the playoffs. Back then they weren't. And they were getting guarded differently than what they are. And Steve Kerr finishing where he finished in terms of what he produced. Steph Curry is a better shooter because he shot 47%, I don't know, on 3 or 4 attempts in the playoffs when he was guarded.
Five attempts in the playoffs.
And the game is much different. Because Steve Kerr's on the team, like you just mentioned, Mars, he's playing with Jordan, who was the ultimate ball hog.
Nah, the triangle got the ball out of Jordan's hands.
Clearly it didn't, because he averaged. Clearly it did not. Clearly it did not. That's not true.
The ball was not sticking with MJ like it was in the 80s, in the late 90s.
Pretty sure that averaging
97, 98 Jordan was not holding the ball as much as 91 Jordan or 89 Jordan was. We spoke about the triangle and how it got the ball out of Jordan's hands.
Right.
We spoke about that. So we're not about to say the ball was always in Jordan's hand now to argue about Steve Kerr shooting. Steve Kerr just didn't shoot as well as Seth Curry.
Even if he was running, how many times have I heard Jordan say sorry, Tex, about the triangle? Because Jordan deviated from the triangle. It wasn't like he just deviated.
I never said he didn't, but we're not going to highlight that's the reason Steve Kerr was only taking 2 threes.
That's the point, Mars, because Jordan did deviate from the triangle.
But that's not why Steve Kerr was only taking 2 threes a game.
Then who was involving him in the offense? It was just the triangle? That's the idea of the triangle.
Steve Kerr only played limited minutes because A, he wasn't very good. Right. And B, when he was out there, the only reason he was out there was to shoot. But they didn't draw up a bunch of plays for him because guess what? They don't really want Steve Kerr shooting over guys like MJ. But with Seth Curry, they draw up plays for him. That's what they did. They drew up plays for Seth Curry.
In a long ball shooting league.
Yes, he's a better shooter. The numbers say he's better. He self-creates more from three. He shoots more attempts from three. They guard him more heavily from three. The only argument for Steve Kerr is that he made a big shot in the finals, and the big shot he made in the finals wasn't even a three.
How did Steve Kerr, Mars? Can you explain to me how Steve Kerr got to where he got to in terms of his production? Because why?
Because he could shoot.
Because he can shoot. Because he played for a long time, and so Seth Curry, in the time that he's playing in the long ball shooting league, if Steve Kerr is playing today, would he be more productive than Seth Curry?
No.
I don't think so. I think it was
based on the percentages. He would not be.
No, based on you watch.
That's all you basing it on, Mars. That's all you're basing it on.
I said he takes more. I said he creates for himself
because of the way the game is today.
Steve Kerr couldn't dribble. That's
Mars, this is nasty.
It's disgusting.
Wait,
I'm sorry. There's no argument for Steve Kerr being a better shooter.
Seth Curry is a better long. I'm sorry, Seth Curry, ladies and gentlemen, Seth Curry is a better long ball shooter than Steve Kerr. He's better off the dribble. He's better in the playoffs. He's a better long ball shooter than Steve.
Yes. What the only argument for Steve Kerr is because you just think, in today's game he shoots more. I'm not saying Seth Curry shoots better than Reggie Miller. I'm saying he's better than Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr's not even a top 20 shooter all time.
Steve Kerr only shot wide open threes off the catch. Yeah. That's it. And he shoots 37% from three in the playoffs.
So Seth Curry is it not? So let's not stop with that, Mars. He's actually a better player than Steve Kerr.
But he's clearly a better player than Steve Kerr. That's not even close.
All right, let's do that.
Clearly a better. Steve Kerr wasn't a good player.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that's less close than the fact that he shoots the three better. The 3-point shooting is closer. It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. Yeah, the player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.